Good afternoon. In this video, we're going to go over this past week's trades and the weekly recap. Before I get into the recap, if you're not in the room, you can find the link in the description of the video and in my bio section of social media accounts. Also, please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Now, last week, I did finish with 22 wins, 5 losses for a win rate of 81.48%. You know, above 80%. A couple of years ago, I would have been very happy with that, but lately my target's been 85%. And I definitely went underneath that and took a couple unnecessary losses, but the market was kind of trappy this week and definitely got on the wrong side here and there. So we will just go over the trades. So Monday, let's see. Monday, I like to say in the trade ideas room on Monday. SPY puts under 361. Make sure I get Monday up, which is the 3rd. Now I'm thinking puts because we have this sell-off on Friday, gap down, and we're pushing up pre-market. But usually when we end up pushing up on pre-market, we end up seeing like take profits or everyone's jumping in on calls, so they end up slamming it on them. So I was looking for puts under, what did I say, 361? Yeah, which was right here. The low of these candles, and obviously the first 2-minute candle I don't touch because that's where you have the most fake outs, but I definitely got faked out right here. So I took right at 940, I took 361 puts at 287, and it dumped a little bit. I think I might have sold a couple of them. Then it just ripped and it just took off, and it did not was not expecting that whatsoever. Usually when you get the first 2-minute candle to form, you usually get more downside, and we did just a little bit, but it just quickly went the other way really fast and ended up being a loss. And I was not expecting this kind of a move right here, so I was a bit surprised about that. Then I ended up, and obviously this particular day, I just kept thinking that because obviously, where is Monday the 3rd? Is this it right here? Yeah, right here. I mean, obviously look from here, all the pops been getting hammered on the hourly, and so there was no reason to think that this wasn't going to either. So especially with all the bad news and all the things that's going on with inflation, the Fed with rates, and the Ukraine and Russia threatening to use nukes, and then oil and OPEC, lots of bad news, bad numbers. I mean, there's tons of evidence to support that the pops are just going to get hammered on, and this particular day it just did not happen. And that's just part of trading. You just gotta I should have just took calls right here, but I didn't. This move just had, if I remember correctly, this move right here happened so fast that I wouldn't have been able to catch it even if I wanted to. But I took let's see, SPX puts at 1047, which is right here, right at this 365 level. Now where is 365? Okay, right. Where's this Monday? I'm trying to get the right day here. No, Monday right here. Okay, 365. I get that right here. It's a pivot. You can see it's resistance, resistance, and support, and support right there. So it's a 365 was a pretty significant pivot on the hourly. So that's why I took, especially after a 355 to 361 to $6 run up, pull back, then it comes back up. So you're talking a $10 run up from open Sunday futures to the 365 level, a $10 run exactly. So that's why I was thinking, okay, the top is probably going to be in. We're probably going to get hammered right here. So I took the 36.50 puts at $10, and they went from $10 to $12.70 right in this little drop right there. Then I reloaded again at 1107, which is right here when it popped up over higher day. All right here when I got the higher day. Again, I reloaded. I got the 1047. Yeah, up here I got it. Then I got it again up here. The same ones, 36.50 puts at 970, and they went from 970 to 13.70 right there. And then I grabbed calls at 12.11, which is right here. Now, I was thinking calls right here because we had this curling top and 20 EMA didn't quite touch it, but when it came back down and popped back up, I grabbed it, I think right around here. Let me see the timestamp, 12.11, which is right here. I must have caught it right when it was getting near high a day. Yeah, I got the 36.70 puts at $7.70, and they went from 7.70 to 8.50. Not much of a play right there. I must have caught it closer to down here. So yeah, not much of a move. What, 7.70 to 8.50? That's about I keep having a brain fart. 80-cent move, not much. I really thought it was going to break out here because, you know, it pulled back, then it came back up. When it bounces off the 20 EMA, it usually rips, and it didn't rip here. Obviously, it did rip over here because it actually touched right here. But I did grab the 36.60 calls at, let me check the timestamp. I didn't have to enlarge it. Yeah, 12.11 was right in here. Got that tiny little pop, if anything. But even if I held, I would have got a nice little play. But I got calls again at 12.31, which is right. I got it right at the 20 EMA. It was kind of risky to get it right there. But I get why I did, because when you have price going away from the moving averages when it chops, it usually brings the moving averages up. When it chops to bring the moving average up, it usually has more continuation to that side. So it did bring up the moving average. It did touch it here. So when it did touch it, I did grab the 36.60 calls at $7. And they went from $7 to $9.50. Then I grabbed puts, calls again. This time I got smarter. I mean, obviously I tried to grab the top here, but I got smarter over here. I grabbed the calls again, this time 36.70 at 108, which is right here. So I thought we were going to break here and didn't. Then I bought the 20 EMA bounce right here and got that little pop. Then at 108, which is this candle right here, I thought for sure we were going to pop, and it pulled back just a tiny bit. So the calls I got, the 36.70 calls I got at 6.50, and they went from 6.50 to 9.40 on that pop right there. Then I grabbed puts at let's see, 241 right here. I grabbed the 36.85 puts at 5.40. Definitely went against me a little bit, chopped a little bit, then it ended up dumping. So those puts went from 5.40 to 6.50. You know, didn't. If I just timed it better, if I waited for right in here or right over here at the 367.50 area, I definitely probably would have gotten 100%, because they wouldn't have been chopped to death by theta. And at the end of the day, the last every minute counts. The last half an hour, last hour of the day. So if you're early 5 minutes or 10 minutes, it can make a huge difference, and theta will just destroy it. So I got a little early. Luckily, I was able to get out green, and but if I timed it better, I would have got definitely 100% move. But timing has been really tough this week. So yeah, I did get on the wrong side of it here, but then I actually ended up doing it better over here. So I did play the second half of the day better on Monday. Just got trapped right in here. This was a huge trap. I was just kind of not expecting that. Then let's see, October 4th, trade ideas room. SPY puts under 371.50 and Roku puts under 61. 371.50, which is right here. I ranged down, average down, not average down, round down to, I like to round down to the 50 cents or whole dollar, especially on the opening plays. And later in the day, I'll go more exact a number, especially if it's like, especially if the range is very tight. That 10-20 cents can be a huge factor. And I was trading during the Obama era, so when the range was $1 to $2 was considered a big range, and precision was really a huge factor. That with volatility and the ranges being anywhere from 4 to 6 on average, and 6 to 10, 6 to 15 on extreme volatile days, 10-20 cents does not make a difference whatsoever. So when tight ranges, they do make a huge difference. But anyways, the 371.50 never hit. Had a huge green candle. I did not want to chase that. That was a huge candle. Plus this massive gap up. We went from what, 366 to 372. We're talking $6 plus gap up, $7 gap up, and I'm not chasing calls on a $7 gap up. It just seems kind of dangerous and risky. But I did end up taking calls at 1034, which is right here. I pulled back a little bit, then it popped. I took the 37.90 calls at $7, and they went from $7 to 11.50 on that little pop right there. So definitely a good little play. Then I took Tesla puts. This was the news on Elon Musk buying Twitter. And the last time I did this, Tesla dumped really hard, and then he kind of like backed out of it, or they were having litigation issues or whatever. Then they said that the deal is going to go through and he's actually going to buy it. So I figured as soon as I heard that, I bought puts at 1208. So I chased this rating down to here. Actually, we had this nasty red candle. I waited for it to pull back a little bit, bounce a little bit, and that's when I grabbed the 250 calls at 570. Then it dumped. So the 250 puts I got at 570 went to $9 on that little play right there. I wasn't sure how much it would dump, because when the first news came out, it dumped substantially. So it was an unknown factor, but now it was known. I mean, obviously with having issues with him actually taking the Twitter and buying it, and was up in the air, but it was not really an unknown, so that didn't really surprise the market too much. I was expecting a dump, but nothing substantial. So I definitely think that we would get a nice little play on that. We did, so that ended up working really well. That was a chase worth chasing. So the fourth, go back to the fourth. Which day was the fourth? Right here. I took puts at SPX puts at 1246, which is right here. Yeah, right there, right when it broke below this consolidation area. I just managed to time it good. As soon as I got underneath this 376.50, that's when I grabbed 377.75 puts at 880, and they went from 880 to 1250 down here. Then I took calls at 250, which is right here. Up here. I took it up here. Yeah, I took the 37.85 calls at $6.50, and they went from 650 to 1770. What? 250. Make sure I got this right. 250. I must have got it right in here. Right in here is where I got it. So yeah, it popped a little bit. So probably I was at the money, and when they're at the money, they'll double, triple, even on small moves. So yeah, they went from 650 to 1770. So 100% move right there. if you can time these end of the day plays or last minute plays, they just end up really having a huge run. Then I took puts at 311, which was right here, okay, because we didn't break high a day, and we got right down here. And I thought for sure we were going to dump, especially after the run we've had from what we'll say 360 to 377. I mean, we've gone $18 in 2 days. To me, that seems pretty ridiculous. So when it didn't break high a day and it came back down through VWAP, that's when I ended up grabbing the 37.75 puts at $10. And it didn't dump, bounced back up. Then I averaged down at 323, which was right up here. Added more at 7, making my average at 850. I didn't average down that much. I don't think I had that many. And then I just ended up ripping and just chopping and ripping. It didn't go anywhere, so that play didn't work out. But I get why I took it here. I would have done it again the same way because, I mean, look at the hourly. It got right away from the RSCT trend line. Anytime it does get away from this, it always comes back to it. I mean, it gets down, comes back close to it, gets down, comes back to it, gets over it, comes back down to it. This thing is just a huge magnet. So I thought for sure we were going to dump here at this particular time. I think I got the puts right in here for the RCT challenge, and swang for 2 weeks, and it ended up being a huge winner because I think at this point in time, the RCT trend line on the 10-minute chart, even though it says it's 368 now, it was down to I think 360 level, so it was almost $20 away. And whenever you see huge gaps like that in between price and this, I always try to trade going into this, not away from it. So when it failed to break out right here, that's when I thought for sure we were going to dump, but no, it just chopped and just ended up making a new higher day. So I mean, it didn't work out, and I was kind of thinking, we were going to dump, but it is what it is. So I had the right thesis, had the right idea, it just didn't work out. Then let's see, on the 5th, Wednesday, SPY puts under 373, Tesla puts under 242, 373, which is right. Obviously I couldn't have picked it right here because it was right there. Actually, I was down here, so I just rounded down to I probably should have said 372, but 373. Not quite sure why I picked the 373. I probably might have been off this right here and just round down a little bit, possibly, but it didn't drop. It popped back up. I took puts at 10 o'clock. Okay, yeah, popped up, inside candle. Then when it finally broke down below right here, that's where I grabbed the 374 puts at 215, and they ended up going from 215 to $3.40 on that play. So definitely a good move. That was news. I think that was consumer sentiment or something like that. I don't remember, but definitely a good play. Then I took puts again at 1052, which is right here. I'm not quite sure why I should have taken it there. I shouldn't have. I played the 37.10 puts at 750. Then I ended up adding more at 1133, which was right here when it popped up to the 200 EMA. My average was what? I got it at 750. I added more at 370. My average was 465. Then when it dropped down, I ended up stopping out at $3, and I just ended up taking off. This was one of the days I shouldn't have grabbed it down here. That was kind of, I probably thought we were going to get more downside. I mean, we're inside of a little bit of a flag, but this was a classic, starts to pop, comes back down, it makes it look like it's going to dump more than it pops on you. I mean, just this has this U-shaped pattern right here. I probably shouldn't have taken it. That's one mistake that I probably shouldn't have taken. But then I took puts again. This time they're blended together, so I have to look in the actual room. 11:38. Oh, I see what I did. Yeah. I got 11:33 is where I added. So I added rated VWAP, it looks like, and that's when it popped up. And when we got to the 200 EMA, that's when I stopped out, and that's when I grabbed the 3740 puts. I grabbed puts closer to the money. So that way they would move, because when they're too far away from the money, they just don't move. So yeah, I stopped out. I don't even think they even, the puts, even when I got it averaged down to 465, even went green. I don't really remember, but I remember dumping him right here when I pushed through VWAP, and when we got to the 200 EMA, I did take a chance on that. I was going to reject that, and I got at the money puts, the 3740 puts at 930, and they went from 930 to 1250. So that ended up being a good play. Then it just ripped again. So I think this is the day I kept cherry picking the top. I mean, yeah, I got lucky a couple times here and there, but I grabbed puts again, another loss, my second loss of the day, at 1203, which is right. I think I got it right here, the double top. I got the 3730 puts at 860 right here, and I think I actually sold some of that. I didn't have much of a position, but I think I sold some. Trying to look. What was the time? 12:03. No, I didn't. I thought I did, but I didn't. But yeah, I did. I get why I took it here. Just premature. But that ends up being a loss right there. Then I ended up grabbing puts again at 123, which is right up here. This was from the previous day's high, right over here. Rejected that. I grabbed the 3780 puts at $7, and then went from $7 to $12.30. That definitely was nice. Then I grabbed calls at 252, which was right here. Now I definitely got on the other side of it right here. I just kept thinking that we were going to reject a higher day. We did a little bit, but I think I timed it wrong. I think I got it too early. This was a good play because it rejected the previous day's high. I didn't think we were going to get much further. But yeah, this was the mistake one and mistake two, both losses right here. I took puts and puts right here, but right here I definitely ended up being a good play. Usually sometimes when we get double tops, they reject pretty harshly, but market was too strong, didn't reject enough, and it is what it is. But getting into the end of the day, the last hour of the day, hour and a half of the day, the market has just been raging into close or popping. So when it dropped right here and it came back up to higher day again, I was like, okay, we're going to have one of those ridiculous moves regardless of how far we've gone or how far it's overbought. The market doesn't care about those things. And so I grabbed the 3790 calls at 540, and they went from 540 to 1760 in that push right there. So that was an insane push, 200% move. Definitely was on the wrong side. I even posted that on Twitter that I was on the wrong side here or there, but like I said, short the pops has been working all the last couple weeks, and nothing has really changed economically or anything like that. And the market just was just going into one of its little ridiculous stages. So it is what it is. Could have definitely taken a couple of losses I didn't need to take. So the 6th. Let's see, trade ideas room. On the 6th, I said SPY puts under 374. Microsoft calls over 250. Microsoft never did get over 250. It touched 250 and got slammed on because I remember watching that. So puts under 374, which was right down here, the pre-market low. It did not get there. First candle was green. And then when you had the first green candle, strong green candle, I grabbed calls right as it made new high a day. I grabbed the 3810 calls at 790, and they went from 790 to 1060. This is why I'm going to be fast. This has been happening a lot lately. The second 10-minute candle has been a trap candle, and if you get in at on the new ORB, which is open range breakout or breakdown of the 10-minute candle, you got to be fast or just stay out of it, because lately they've been fast movers and trappers, so got to be quick. So yeah, they went from 790 to 1060 in that little pop. Then it ended up dumping. Then I took puts at 10 o'clock, which right here when it broke lower day. Took the 3750 puts at 920, and they went from 920 to 18. Nice little play right there. Then I grabbed puts again 1124, which was probably right here. Grabbed it a little early right there, right here. It popped up, chopped, and it came back down. When it started to pop over this area right here, I was actually looking at calls, but I was worried that we weren't going to pop because I think we had a lot of bad news that day, or I don't remember what it was, or Fed speakers, I can't remember, but there was something that made me not want to take that. But when it got over this area, then it came back down. That's where I grabbed the 3760 puts at 860, and they went from 860 to 1110 right there. Then I grabbed calls at 1153. So I did grab calls right there. I don't know. I probably thought that we were actually going to break this time. I think I actually might have sold some too. It's just, I know one of them that took a loss. I sold some. No, this wasn't it either. I don't know. Anyways, but yeah, it was chopping. It popped up, came back down, and then when it came back up here again, and sometimes I just go against my my gut, and I probably shouldn't have grabbed calls thinking we were going to push, because it's chopping right here. I wasn't too confident in calls. That's why I grabbed puts right here. Then when it popped up again, usually, like I've been saying over that past few weeks, is that anytime SPY drops and quickly goes back to where it was, that usually ends up breaking out, quote, usually. And that's why I grabbed calls thinking, okay, I'm just going to go with it and see if it actually does break. And I got the 3790 calls at 880, and I didn't grab that many because obviously I wasn't too confident in it. I don't remember what was going on this day, but there was something going on. It must have been a lot of Fed speakers or saying they're going to keep going with the interest rates. I don't remember what it was, or inflation wasn't getting tamed. I don't remember. But there was something, we had news going on that wasn't really that great. So anyway, so yeah, I grabbed calls, went against my instincts, ended up being the loss. Got slammed out immediately after I got in. It was a very, very dirty move. Then I grabbed puts at 205, which is right here. Drops, comes back up to VWAP, chops underneath it. Then it came back down. I managed to time this one perfect. As soon as I get underneath the 374.75 area, that's where I grabbed the 3750 puts at 680. And then went from 680 to $9 right there. So that ended up being a good play. The market's just been very tricky, choppy and tricky and trappy. It's just a complete nightmare. So on the 7th, which I think is the last day, yeah. SPY puts under 368. That's what it's in the trade ideas room. This is a huge knife. Pop back up for a bear flag. 368, which is the low of this candle. I rounded up for the round number. Waited for the first 2-minute candle to form. As soon as it broke lower day, I grabbed 268 puts at 216. And then went from 216 to 396 right down to the RCT trend line. Look at that. Thing's a huge magnet. It went right to it. And I grabbed calls at 1054, which is right here. Get this little drop. It's consolidating in this area. As soon as I get over this 360, 670 area, that's where I grabbed calls. I grabbed the 3700 calls at 670. I only went from 670 to 770, a dollar move still. Not a bad play. Then I grabbed, this is one I got on the wrong side of, even though I didn't think we were going to get this kind of a move today, because we're at 374.50. We're down to 365. Already got like almost a $10 drop. So I was thinking, okay, we're going to have a relief balance bounce, but we just didn't. So I grabbed calls at 1050, which is right here. Right here. Oh, why did I grab it right there? 363. Oh, I see it right here. On the hourly, you got resistance, and support. So this 360 area was a pretty good area. Plus, being down almost $12, I thought for sure we were going to get a bounce, and we did. So I grabbed the 36.50 calls at $11, and they went from $11 to $12.30, $1.30 play right there. Just the bounces have been tiny. They just it bounces a tiny bit and it just gets crapped on. Bounce, crapped, bounce, crapped, bounce, crapped. I mean, this just the whole day. I was not expecting this kind of a dump in one day. Usually we get some kind of relief bounce, or even if it's like a $2 or $3. We didn't even get that. We were lucky to get $1. We went from what, 363.19. Yeah, we didn't even get it. We got $1. We got a little over $1. So yeah. Then I grabbed calls at 250, which is down here. So I got the calls here at 1250. Then at 250, thinking the same thing, that we got new lower day, we're going to bounce. So I grabbed the 3640 calls at $8, and they went from $8 to $11. So they did bounce a little bit there. Then it just got crapped on. I just had enough. This week has been a long week. The market's just been all over the place, kind of crazy. The market's been ignoring bad news, and then all of a sudden it just reacts to hardly any news or trivial news that it shouldn't react to. It's just the market's very sensitive when it wants to be, and you just have to anticipate it. And that's why I always say that the market just picks the narrative, why it wants to drop. So anytime the market just magically drops out of nowhere, that's when you see the media and social media just try to find the narrative or why it dropped. And usually that's not even usually the case, but that's just the narrative they want to play to say that's the reason why it did what it did. But anyways, that's going to do it for the weekly recap. I hope this has helped you understand my thoughts behind it. Definitely not the greatest week, but it was a very challenging week. Hopefully next week will be better. So with that said, hope to see you in the room. Thanks for watching.